Hey, are you looking for something to do tonight? Debbie Gibson is at Parks Casino in the Excite Center. That's where the headliners perform. It's a terrific venue. Debbie Gibson tonight, the Marshall Tucker Band on August 25th. Australian Pink Floyd is coming. J.B. Smoove is coming. Love him from Curb. A tribute act, The Best of the Eagles. Country star Dustin Lynch. Comedian Tiffany Haddish. The Fray. TC loves The Fray. The Juicy Scoop podcast with Heather McDonald, comedian Kev Herrera, the a cappella sounds of Straight No Chaser. What a great name that is, Straight No Chaser. The Excite Center at Parks Casino in the Philly Burbs. Go online at parkscasino.com. Buy tickets for all the shows. This is how you win. I've been there to see so many different acts. Dana Carvey among them several months ago. You've got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Enjoy the Excite Center. Enjoy the headliners. Play some slots. Do all the fun stuff. Grab a drink. Parks. Thank you. Headlines now from the Friday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. Of course, all the news today is about last night and the convention and the political scene relative to President Biden. For the Republicans, as I've been saying, he told us, meaning Donald Trump, that he was personally rewriting the speech, and then he proved it because it was very Trumpian when all was said and done. If he'd contained himself to the first 25 minutes, in fact, I have to tell you a funny story. Naively, something that I was thinking last night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I've watched it all. I've watched it all beyond what I'll describe as prime time. Prime time is 10 until 11 because the cable outlets are all on the convention. And then the conventional networks, as I put it, NBC, ABC, CBS, they tune in just for that 10 o'clock hour. So that's why everything in that 10 o'clock hour is so tightly structured, choreographed, and I think very effective. The Gold Star families 2 nights ago, the mom of the veteran who comes home safely from Iraq and then is killed by a knife attack in New York City. She's the one who said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, all in the 10 o'clock hour. So in the 10 o'clock hour last night, you had Hulk Hogan, you had Kid Rock, you had Dana White. I love Dana White's line, I'm in the tough guy business, and like he's the toughest guy of all. And I'm watching the clock, and it's now 10:30, 10:35.
I'm getting sleepy.
Totally.
Like, I was so sleepy.
Totally.
Like, please let me go to bed, please.
So 10:35
sad.
is roughly when Trump takes the stage.
Oh,
Here now my naivete.
Okay,
now
go
my
ahead.
naivete. I say, having watched the first 3 nights where it's so tight between 10 and 11, I say, this is going to be a short speech.
Bada bing.
He's going to get it, and I say, wisely, he's going to get it done in 25 minutes.
Right. And you
90 minutes later.
were wrong.
90 minutes later.
Wow.
Yeah. And he'd have been
Wow.
much better off if he'd stuck to the first 25 minutes, and everybody would have thought, well, that was, different, compelling, and that would have been it.
As I said to you when I walked in the door today, he was the worst of it, in my mind. It was, I believe, an extraordinarily well-produced and well-done convention.
Totally.
Except for the keynote speaker.
I mean, he couldn't control his worst impulses. As I sat here and said yesterday, what gets him in trouble is when he thinks the audience is bored and he needs to deviate from the prepared script. And it's both great for electrifying the audience, but it's also where, his worst instincts come to the surface.
I thought it was the best when Lee Greenwood was finishing and he was walking out and the Trump was in the lights and the uniform. Oh, no. I mean, that was like heartbreak. I thought that was the strongest. That was the strongest.
And remember,
then it was downhill from there.
They had to put all that together within the span of a week because it was only a week ago.
Of course.
That these events transpired.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, you'd rather be the R's than the D's. They come out with a great feeling of unity. I've been in contact and have spoken to a number of friends who are there telling me, this is the best convention for the party that there's been in the modern era. Meanwhile, I continue to say it's a question of when, not if. I think it's sad. I've watched that footage of President Biden getting on the aircraft to go to Las Vegas. Clearly he was sick as he's boarding the aircraft, and then by the time that he comes home, not even having spoken. It's just plain sad. And I don't know if you watch this, TC. ABC has footage of the 23 seconds, I think they said, that it takes him to actually get in the car. Yeah. And I just believe, and Mark Halpern, is reporting it's absolutely going to happen. And Mark is reporting that he's not going to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris. That's the poll question today. If President Biden leaves the race, and I remain convinced that he will, should he endorse Vice President Harris for the nomination? So make sure you're voting at Smerconish.com on today's poll question. One other thing I've got to address pertaining to last evening. So last night, I had a mingle presentation, which means that via Zoom, many of you are watching TC right now via YouTube. YouTube can't accommodate the number of people that we bring to the table for these mingles and do so in a means that allows me to see your faces. Consequently, now I'm telling you too much information, but that's why for the pre-debate mingle and for last night, we were via Zoom and not via YouTube solo. Actually, we kind of split the audience. I think we gave mixed signals last night because we anticipated that we would tap out on Zoom again. So we said, hey, you can watch on Zoom or you can also go to YouTube. Michael, why are you telling all this? This is boring. Well, because in the Zoom image, actually, Randy, will you put up, there you go. So that's what it looks like for the benefit of those who are watching now. That's what last night looked like. Faces and faces and faces and faces.
There are pages and pages and pages.
Pages and pages and pages and pages and pages. Okay.
Love it.
But are you all aware of the fact that we got, I guess I would say, like porn bombed last night?
It's so interesting that you say that because when the pictures first came on, I said to my friend, how do you keep naked people from showing up on this?
Well, we didn't.
Who was naked?
So I didn't know this when it was going on.
Neither did I. I can't believe
Oh, look at Dan. Dan's like pulling up his chair. He's smiling.
Dan's like
he's
looking
blinking.
closely at the right.
Yeah. Now, Dan, go ahead.
Listen. If anyone should be okay with being naked, it's you. All right. So you're the one who stands in the middle of the street.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Wait, was it a male or female?
Okay. So my knowledge of this, while the event was playing itself out, you have to understand, I'm looking at notes. I am not the master of my own screen.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to say of your own domain.
No. So I'm looking at my screen, and I'm trying to manipulate my screen to see more and more people, and then I frankly gave up because it was so confusing, and I thought, I'm going to lose my train of thought. I better just stay focused on my message.
Yeah.
So I knew nothing until after it was over, and my wife, monitoring from a different room, just like a listener or viewer, had pulled out her phone when she saw this couple start going at it.
A couple was having sex or just making out?
They were headed down that road.
You have got to be kidding me.
No.
Are they...
And
listeners?
And
Are they regular viewers?
I don't know enough about this.
Were they clothed or unclothed?
They were clothed and headed in an unclothed direction. So my wife also does business with PJ from Creative Outfit.
Sure.
So she alerted PJ to this fact, and the two of them, I guess, made the decision. I'm not sure I agree with it.
I would have put it front and center. What are you kidding me?
Which was to block them.
The two of us. Right. The two of us had the total opposite reaction.
Can we get a wide shot, please?
Can we get a viewer?
Exactly.
A viewer, please?
Yeah. Yeah, so all that happened last night.
Wow.
And how many of the people, because you saw a moment ago, there are so many screens that it's hard to, so I don't know how many people noticed this.
The whole thing was recorded. I need a review.
I need PJ's full explanation of what went on here.
We'd like a review, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So among the highlights of the Republican National Convention, there was that.
Wow.
There was that.
All right. I would see my most exciting thing, and I had no idea that this was going on, but my most exciting thing was, I don't know if you knew that PJ opened it up a few minutes early, like 10, 15 minutes early. And
no,
so
I did not
everybody
know.
that was there was able to unmute and say hello. And people that you'd recognize, all of their names were saying like, hi, it's, Mary from X or John from Y or whatever it was. And I got to say hi and Alice got to say hi. And
it's a mingle.
It was a mingle.
Yeah, it's a mingle.
It was really, really fun. I gave everyone the cheers with my
it's
wine.
Fun. It's fun. Like, and I people really seem to enjoy it. We do it for newsletter subscribers, and we will do it again. And we will do it.
People are pointing out, David says couples are not having enough sex. Maybe they just wanted to spice it up.
Well, so here's the thing. What I don't know, although I have a strong suspicion, what I don't know for sure is if two people in real time were having an encounter.
Right.
Or if we got video bombed,
That's
where
what
somebody
Alice just wrote.
where
Alice
somebody
said
just
it was
like
a music video,
where somebody just like fed some porn into the mix.
Kate Kelly, gratuitous sex, Michael's favorite part of any book.
Yeah.
Kate, we wanted to have it as part of the Zoom mingle.
Wait until you see the numbers for the next time we do this.
That's what someone else said. They're coming to the next.
It'll be through the roof. It'll be through the roof. So a lot of fun. Glad that so many of you enjoyed. And yes, it is a mingle. It's funny. I just saw a story that I'm already flagging for tomorrow, Saturday's newsletter, about people in San Antonio through this organized program who are showing up to have dinner with strangers. Again, because of the loneliness epidemic and the need for people to get together and have common experience. It is striking such a chord every time that I have this conversation. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. It's going to be a really interesting weekend, I believe, because there'll be it even though it was kind of funny, not in a humorous sense, but in an odd sense, that even though last night was the final night of the Republican National Convention, at the start of the hours, I noticed a number of the outlets were leading. They were in Milwaukee for Trump's coronation, and they were leading with the story of what's going on with Biden. My plan tomorrow on CNN, much as it has been today on POTUS, is really not to focus so much on the what is Biden going to do, because I'm so far beyond that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just so far beyond it in thinking it is definitely going to happen. When I see him getting on and off that plane, it's like enough. And I get it. He's got COVID. He's sick, but enough. And the question now is, how is this going to be handled by Democrats? And it may just be handed to the vice president, or there may be some degree of a competition, which I think is in the nation's best interest, in the party's best interest, Democratic Party, and it's in the vice president's best interest. So that's the political news of the day. Thank you for last night's participation. More headlines now from the Friday edition of the newsletter. TC, what else caught your eye?
Well, I mean, I think we have to mention the New York Magazine cover. Because people seem to be having fits about it. Wildly disrespectful. Did both parties give consent? Was no one else in the room when this got approved? I am not prudish, but good grief. What are we talking about? Go to Smerconish.com. You can
Randy
see the
is showing
cover.
it.
There it is on YouTube. It is Trump and Biden on the scales.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
You have it.
Ooh, hard
you
copy.
have the real
A
thing.
hard copy. I got to say, it is so realistic. It is exactly what I think each of them looks like, when they're just in their skivvies. And what I think is really amusing about this is, well, I've just given it away to you and to the YouTube audience, but which of them do you think is a boxer short guy and which is a briefs guy? Because I think they got it right.
Hold it up again. Yeah,
right.
I think you're right.
Biden's in boxer shorts and Trump is in briefs.
Yeah, Biden's in like Brooks Brothers boxer shorts for sure.
Yeah. And Trump's in his tighty whities.
Not that my opinion has much weight, no pun intended, but I have no problem with this cover, and I don't understand the outrage over it. I think it's a magazine that has taken a creative move, and I think it's brilliant.
What
I think
if
it's
it was?
actually really well done.
What if it were female politicians, Dan? Would you think differently?
Oh, they'd have never done it.
That's my point.
They would never have done it. Like
so
Hillary?
That's not fair then.
Hillary and Sarah Palin?
Oh.
And look, even Trump has the tan line.
That's what I was just going to comment on. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is
the
brilliant.
orange touch, right? I think it's really creative. It's art. I think it's art. And I don't think I don't understand the outrage. It's totally fine. Are you outraged by it, TC?
Oh, yeah, you know me, Dan. I don't get outraged, but I think if I'm just saying, like, my point is like they would never do that to females. So then you can't. What's good for Peter is good for Paul. What's good for one is good for all. Like, come on.
If they one last thing, if they did this to females though in a different way, let's say a totally different piece of art, and then people would be saying, oh, they would never do that to males. So this is just the opposite.
I've done a poor job in explaining. It's the two of them side by side on respective scales, akin to what you'd find at your internist, and the issue is the New York Magazine health issue.
And they're both just in their underwear.
Right.
And it's AI-generated bodies, and they look super realistic.
Totally realistic.
Oh, yeah.
This is exactly what I picture each of them.
I don't picture either of them, but thank you. There it is. There it is. All right, yeah. So further down at Smerconish.com, you got it. Well, I mean, obviously, you have to see Scott Stantis's Friday cartoon.
It's tremendous. Really
sad.
Great. Yeah.
And then speaking of sad, 2 deaths reported yesterday. Bob Newhart dies at age of 94.
Funny guy.
Yep.
Such an understated means of communication and so damn funny.
And Lou Dobbs dead at 78. I didn't even know that he was ailing. So yeah, he has died. They said a fighter till the end. And I think President Trump referenced him yesterday at the RNC. So those two, we were just talking yesterday about obituaries. So there's that. And then how about the Grateful Dead among the
Kennedy Center honors?
Get the Kennedy Center honors this year.
Well, yeah, one of the great Kennedy Center honors moments was when the Wilson sisters' Heart, when Led Zeppelin was being, I guess I'd say, inducted into the Kennedy Center honors, played Stairway to Heaven, and Robert Plant and Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones, because Bonham is gone, were looking down and watching Heart perform their songs. I think it's really cool and kind of made me wonder why it hadn't already happened.
And in our final minute, is your garden at all goth?
Mine is not.
So you have a terrific article in Smerconish.com today. Black flowers, sad statues, gardens are going goth. And I do know that there are flowers that are black and dark and, dark green. But this is a trend now that people who are into goth and into Victorian art, etc., are growing gardens that are a very different look. How is your garden?
My garden needs some attention. I will this weekend have a report.
Oh,
it's all great.
People are asking.
It's all great. Tomatoes are great. The lettuce has been great. The onions not so well.
Oh.
But I need to weed. I'd be embarrassed if people saw the.
No.
So I'll clean it up and then I'll give you a report this weekend. Listen to TC After Dark. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, TC. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, PJ. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Creative. Thank you for listening. Tomorrow, 7:30 on YouTube, CNN, 9 a.m. Thanks.